Hey guys, Dishsoap here, and I just qualified for the Set 11 World Championship. You don't really have to know the specifics of how I qualified. Basically, there were a bunch of cups throughout the Americas region, including North and South America, and the top performers in those cups, plus the strongest performing ladder players in those regions, were invited to this tournament that I'm showing you right now, called like the America's Golden Spatula Regionals or something. And then basically whoever does well in this tournament gets invited to Worlds. So that's what I was playing for. This video is going to be a little bit more informal. I kind of just wanted to yap over like all of the important slash interesting games I played in. Since there weren't really that many like tubers from this game to like actually show off, I feel like it might just be more educational and stuff to just like talk through some of my reasoning. But yeah, I'm gonna be pretty informal, just speeding through the games and stuff. This is the second game of the day, of the first day. The context to this game was I went seventh in the first game, which is not good. Since like the way this tournament works is like the points carry over from the first and second day. So pretty much it's like 12 games, and then the top performers in those 12 games move to the final 8. So like day 1 and day 2 aren't really that different. But yeah, I went seventh in the first game, so second game I need to do well. I believe this was triple prismatic portal. Get a Rek'Sai 2. I sped past it, but a couple people called like Reapers and Kane. So normally I would take Reaper Crown here, but yeah, I mean, you see all those people in chat. I was kind of scared. I just take Wandering Trainer because I felt like my spot had a lot of opportunities to high roll. Bruiser +1 like I got was really, really good. I mean, this one's just really, really good because I have the Kindred fits in for Bruiser plus Dryad plus Reaper. But I also have the Cho'Gath in case I got like Mythic. Story Weaver's always really good. Ink Shadow's always really good. So I think there's a lot of high rolls from it, so I just took it for some direction. The slightly unlucky thing about this one, it's giving me direction for Reapers with the Reaper emblem, and like we saw, a lot of these people were angling Kane, so it's gonna be hard to maybe hit my stuff. And the typical Reaper comp also plays Bruiser, so it's gonna be hard for me to hit like Silas and Galio and stuff. Yeah, just a pretty standard early game. Super strong though, because I have Rek'Sai too and stuff. Thing is, here on Carousel, I actually take a slightly unconventional item. I take Archangel here. I have an open tier and an open chain. It's a little bit weird of a slam, but the reason I justified it is because, one, Bruisers can stall. I'll presumably be on like 6 or 8 Bruiser this game, which is a lot of frontline. And 2, I can either carry Kindred with 4 Reaper, and since I have Bruiser, like it's actually like the Archangel can actually stall and good value for that. And 2, if I don't actually end up playing Reaper, I can play like 8 Bruiser Silas. And with all the extra HP that Silas has with 8 Bruiser, I think Archangel is actually a pretty good build for him, or a pretty good item on him when it normally usually isn't, since he's a lot more tanky with like 6 Bruiser, right? So that's my reasoning. I wanted to flex between like Kindred and Silas item holding. Unfortunately, we just fight someone who's a little bit stronger, don't get a streak, but we're still really rich, which is a nice thing about taking Wandering Trainer. It gives you gold. But yeah, the game plan here is to just stay alive, maybe roll a bit on 3-2 for 6 Bruisers. Yeah, the goal is just to like stay alive and go to like level 8 on 4-2 and then either roll for like Kane or Silas or even maybe even both if it works out. And got really lucky here. The Silas in my shop makes my game plan really easy. Darius for Umbrella Bruiser is also nice as well. But yeah, now I can just Archangel him immediately. These item times are actually pretty awkward. You might think I should maybe go something like BT and Titans. BT's actually not that good on the Silas, even like with Archangel, even with me carrying him. Just because he already like heals himself based on his AP anyways, it's just not the most efficient. And then also, I really like the best item possible for the Silas is Spark. So I don't really want to kill Cloak with a BT. And now for other slams, it's a little bit questionable as well. I think I maybe should have just gone GS and put it in like Kindred or something, but I just held off because I didn't think it was going to change the fight anyways. And here I think it's a pretty easy Bruiser Crown, lets me get 6 Bruiser immediately. And I actually still don't BT the Silas. I put it on this Darius with the plan to swap this to either like Kane or maybe even Yone or like Lee Sin or something with Duelist Emblem. 8 Bruiser gives like a small damage proc, like an AD auto damage proc. So like Bruiser Spat plus a melee carry is actually a pretty good combo. So I'm going to have that unit hold my BT. Encounter Carousel, some nonsense. I really just wanted to make a Spark, but the Rod was gone. So I just take a second Archangel. I don't actually know if this is the best pick. I think I maybe could have gone Rapidons plus Bow and made a red buff for some anti-heal. Okay, I think I made Sunfire later. But I made Sterix because I felt like it was pretty good synergy with BT8 Bruiser. Lose some fights to people with strong frontline, get a Galio for like 8 Bruiser on 7, kind of crazy. And just set up my team planner, rolling for all the Bruisers, plus like Aurelia, plus like Kane, plus like Yone and stuff, Lee Sin. Interesting thing about this game is that it's actually a pretty good Exalted for me. I believe the Exalted was Tom Kench, Kane, and like Tristana, which actually like fits perfectly on this board. Replace this Darius with a Kane and add in Tristana. That's just 3 Exalted with Kench over Kabuko. So that was part of my plan, was to get Exalted in. And we do get the Rod for Spark, which I'm going to make immediately. And now we get the Belt Chain for Sunfire. Here I played a little too greedy. I should have just made Last Whisper. The reason is 8 Bruiser does a physical damage proc. When you have a big ass physical damage proc, you probably want some Armor Shred. I didn't slam it this round because I was confused on who to put it on, since I wanted to put in like a range unit, like probably like my Tristana or whoever I have in the backline, so I just held off on it for now, but I still greeted it in the future. As for these augments, Freaky Friday, Uplink are just bad. I don't think Accomplice is necessarily that good. You would prefer something like Tiny but Deadly, maybe like Ascension, maybe like Jeweled Lotus, maybe even like a Harmesis, to be honest. Maybe a bulk, maybe, because of the bruiser scaling. But I feel like you have to take some kind of combat augment, and support items basically is a combat augment, so I take that instead of the items. And then we do a roll in here, rolling for the stuff we thought about. Play Kane, or play the Hui because it's early enough. Maybe it lets me hit. Like, see, since I have the Silas pair, it lets me kind of guarantee that I hit the Silas in 4 turns, which is nice because he's like the most contested unit in the game. I believe I make a mistake, though, here. I think the Yone 1 is stronger than the Darius 2 already, and also the mistake of not making Last Whisper. What I should do here is move items to Yone 1, and Last Whisper the Hui, and put him, like, right behind my team. Darius, like, he's upgraded, but I actually do just think he's worse than Yone 1 here, because I have Reapers, and then also, like, the Bruiser physical damage proc doesn't really work with Darius's, like, magic stuff, but yeah. And then here, I back out of the Last Whisper plan entirely and just choose to go for a Giant Slayer. Or sorry, not Giant Slayer, a TG. I have Giant Slayer components left over. And yeah, here I'm just rolling to 0 for like the Galio, the Silas, maybe a Kane. Because like all of my units are pretty contested. I don't know. A lot of these fights look rough. That's just because I don't have anything upgraded yet. Once I hit Galio 2 and Silas 2, the way percent like HP scaling works with a 2-star unit is like way too big. So I'm just going to be weak until I hit my upgrades. As for support item here, I don't actually know if this is the correct choice. I took it because it didn't really impact my positioning and I already had anti-heal. But I took Needlessly Big Gem. It's going to proc in pretty much every fight. And I have 8 bruisers, so in theory I'm a stall comp and it's good. But I don't know, it procs pretty late into the fights, and believe it or not, like my comp has a decent amount of like burst and pressure. It's not like the slowest comp in the world. So I don't really know if it was the best pick, but at least I don't have to really position around it. So I think it's fine. Yeah, just waiting on the print. I mean, honestly, this might have been an Ascension diff. It's a really, really big round to win as well, because now I'm pretty much always going to be 3 lives. And now we get the Kane. Yeah, so if I go Tristana over the Hui, I'll have 3 Exalted, and I get 1 right immediately. I should be selling the extra Yones and Lees, because I'm not going to play Yone anymore with this Kane. I'm going to go BT Sterix on Kane, and then the plan was to go Edge of Night on my Tristana with the big gem to like keep it alive in the backline. And then I was going to go Last Whisper on her, for the same reasons the one at Last Whisper earlier, for the physical damage proc. And yeah, here with the Silas 2, I feel pretty confident I can just push 9. The caveat, though, is that if I take some bad losses, I still have the flexibility of being able to roll for Kane and Galio if stuff goes wrong. But ideally, I just win the next few rounds and go 9 on 5-5 or something. Here, I'm too broke to take any of these. Also, like, my slots are filled, so it's not really going to be that helpful. If I could pay for a support item, I'd maybe consider it, but definitely not for the other 2. And I get the Aurelia, which is my next in, even though it's like 3 duelists. It's still Story Reaver, which is okay, and then Aurelia is just a really good unit with stall as well. Yeah, really, really good matchups into these duelist boards. They don't quite have enough damage to kill me, and my I eventually just ascend on them. And here, I don't know. I don't know if it's correct, but I pretty much have a perfect level here if I sell Riven. So I choose to do it to level for the Aurelia. The benefit of this is that it's a perfect interval. I mean, I'm trying to win rounds. The downside of it is I maybe could have waited since I don't have Kane and Galio 2 yet. Maybe I was supposed to save my goal to hit them easier. And I do end up losing the round anyways. The important thing to note is I lost this round because I was on the wrong side. What happens this fight is Janna targets the two closest, which is Kayn and Silas, which is my two carries, which is not good. I'd much rather them target like my Delvey and my Galio and my Rek'Sai and all my other trash. So I really should have been on the opposite side against him. It was just I just didn't see it. But every other fight against this guy in the future, I am going to try to be on opposite side. Here, I just take the Kayn for the Kayn pair. Nashor's is not the best Aurelia item, but it's like it does something. So you might as well take it. And we just rolled a 0 every turn because I would definitely sell Galio if I hit Kayn too. I don't think I would sell Kayn if I hit Galio though. Importantly, on the opposite side against the Syndra, I didn't want the same thing to happen where my left side got focused again and ended up winning the fight because of it. It was a really big one as well. Would have been on 1 life otherwise. And yeah, just skipping through a couple more duelist matchups. I feel pretty confident in this. The 8 Bruiser physical damage proc just burst through these so well and they can't really get through it. It's just kind of a free matchup. Get the Aurelia 2. And then, yeah, get a really lucky Kayn and Galio 2. And yeah, my board's about as capped as it could be. I take Edge of Night on Aurelia to protect it against the Lux. Maybe Ginsu is better. I don't really believe that much in the Ginsu Aurelia scaling, but I don't think any of the items really swing the fight that much. Unfortunately, I think this might just be an unwinnable matchup. It was like kind of close if my Aurelia could kill the Janna Lux. The matchup's just really, really rough. They have too much frontline for me to burst them down, and they have a lot of damage and sustain. Just kind of a really bad matchup. And then here, only thing that really matters is just being on opposite side, and I get that. So it should be an easy win. Shred his whole team as well. But yeah, that's pretty much the game. I beat him, fight a Ghost, and then lose to Wasian and get second. But still, second's really, really good when all you really care about is average placement and making it to the 3rd day. Second's fantastic. You only lose 1 point from a first average placement-wise, so I'm very, very happy with that. What I'm showing you now is game 5 of day 1. The context since game 2 is that in game 3, I went 6th, and in game 4, which is not terrible, but it's not really what you want if you're aiming for top 8. Basically, averaging a 5 is not good. Throughout the first 4 games, I was averaging a 5, so definitely needed a couple of good games to close out the day to feel good about the next day. This is either the most or second most pivotal game of the entire tournament. Here, holding all the units, holding the Senna opener, holding the Story River open potential and holding the Yone. So I'm willing to play like Reapers, I'm willing to play Senna, willing to play like Ink Shadow, Trick Shot, flex into like Kaisa or like Lily or something. Just holding all your outs so that you can choose the strongest line. Get an Aatrox, which fits the Senna. Have a Ginsu and I have pumping up. I think it's a very clear pumping up, but I actually choose to commit to Reapers immediately and not Senna. I believe I did this because my tattoo was like Vitality, I think. I believe that's the stipulation. Is I didn't really feel confident in playing Senna with a poor tattoo. Actually, I think I don't commit. I think I commit like the next round. I just played strongest board this round, but maybe I should have sold my bench this round, I don't know. But yeah, I think it was a poor tattoo, and I also don't really want to play Ashe here, which is kind of weird, because like you would think this might be an Ashe spot, the Gensu and the pumping up, but I usually like to play like Ashe from super win streak spots. Feels really, really bad if you're like playing from even slightly behind with the comp. I also just don't think the comp is that strong in the meta. I commit to Reapers here, which is actually surprisingly really, really strong with pumping up. The only thing that doesn't really make sense with Reapers is my itemization. I can fix that a bit by just going first pick on Carousel and getting items that way. So yeah, pretty much just committing to Reapers here. The 4 Reaper, 4 Bruiser variation. Just play a Kiana, but ultimately we're just trying to lose streak here. Killing units is nice though. Still first pick. Here I make a relatively interesting decision on the Carousel. Right here, the best component in my spot for Reapers is actually Sword, because Sword builds into Edge of Night, it builds into BT, and then the third best item for Kayn is usually like DB or GS, so, and then you also want to build Yone items, so when you play Reapers, you really just want as many swords as possible. The thing with this, like I end up taking the tier Yone, and the thing about this tier Yone is, one, it's on a Yone, which is really, really good. 2, tier is not even that bad. It can be a Kindred item, it can be a Hodge, maybe a Silas item if I high roll. But 3, look at this player. I'm denying tier from a Kog'Maw player that has 1 Kog'Maw and 0 tiers. And my reasoning is, if I can grief this guy, this looks like a spot that can just go 8th. Like, everyone here is a good player. So, griefing someone's spot that much is just, like, pretty high value. Like, if he goes 8th, that's just, like, an extra placement for me, right? Take the slightly suboptimal item for more Yones and to grief. And end up selling Malphite so I could, like, even hold more of the stuff. Here, Spencer is the this is a loose streak player. He has a Fortune emblem, So usually you can't really contest Fortune Lost Streak, but since he has Fortune Emblem, he's actually trying to greed playing extra units. So if I sell my Kindred and my Yorick here, I can just fight a 2v4 and always lose to him, since like 2 units will never beat this. So securing my Lost Streak, griefing a turn of his Fortune, all really, really impactful. I should have actually done this the previous turn because he was also in my pool, but I didn't notice it until this round, so I got a little bit lucky. Here, Rod, really not what you want. It can be Kindred items, but that's usually stuff like, it's kind of hard to justify it. Here, you could go something like a Death Cap and a Nashers and have like a tier on Kindred and play super, super heavily into Kindred itemization, but I just don't really think that's the game plan I want right now. I go for the Morello and then the Titans, and then this tier is either going to be Hodge or this Rod's going to be Gunblade, and I just play around the Yone. The idea here is that I'm uncontested, and I feel like I can hit Yone 3. Usually this comp is contested, but for whatever reason this lobby didn't really contest it, so I thought I could play for Yone 3 much more likely. So I'm going for Yone items. Usually Titans is not that good in this line, because Titans kind of sucks on Kayn, but it's pretty good in Yone still. I think there's too many misses with Forge here, so I was going to default just pick Unified. So I was going to roll Forge and see what I get behind it. And I take Heavy Hitters here. Yone activates Heavy Hitters at 2-star as soon as you have 2 Bruiser in, so that's what I'm rolling for. And like the Kindred and other stuff, I was rolling for Bruiser and Kindred. So now Yone has Heavy Hitters activated. And also Heavy Hitters has a decent amount of synergy with my team. Since I'm playing Bruiser, I'm playing Dryad, so even like a Kindred 2, Yone 2 will have Heavy Hitters activated. And then 2, I have Pumping Up, and Heavy Hitters gives you AD and AP, while Pumping Up gives you attack speed, so they multiply off each other. It's just 2 really, really powerful scaling offensive augments that multiply. So I'm playing for like a super, super strong late game, which I need because I'm bleeding pretty fast right now. The Nautilus encounter is on kill. Even though I've been losing this whole game, I don't think I'm that weak. I think I can kill some units. If I get to Carousel and get a healing item plus add an Umbral, I actually think I'm like very, very strong for the stage. So I took this encounter and playing for the next couple rounds rather than just this round. First of all, I think Glove for Hodge is a better item, but I was considering taking Kaisa with Sword, specifically to grief the Fortune player as well, since it gives him a free Kaisa. I think since the Glove came on the Elune, it meant I didn't have to roll. It means I could just level for Umbral without having to roll. I mean, I did hit the Elune in the shop, but that's just hindsight. But the plan was to take this so I didn't have to roll for the Elune, and I think Hodge is a better item than Gunblade anyways. So one of the carousels I grief, and one of the carousels I don't grief. It's kind of interesting. Here, get pretty unlucky with Healing Orbs, was a little upset about it. Definitely would like to like 3-streak through the rest of the stage. Encounters a dummy, put in the backline, doesn't really matter, just some extra gold. End up fighting the Fortune player after I cash out, which is really, really lucky because it means I'm not gonna have to fight a strong Fortune player on stage 4, at least in like I won't be in his pool until 4-6, which is really, really nice. Krogs gives me Cloak, Glove, Rod. Yeah, it's not that good. Well, I mean, I have to make the Death Cap because you can't really kill 2 Rods. So after that, I just make the QSS because it's an okay slam on Yone. It's okay on Kayn. It's very, very good if I have Yone 3 here. Yone 2 is probably going to be a bit too squishy, you'll see, in these fights, and you probably want to Edge a Knight instead. In the fantasy land where I hit Yone 3, it's very good. And here, none of these augments are really that good. I don't actually think Reaper Crest is that good here because I don't have Silas items as well. And yes, it gets me immediate access to 4 Reaper, but like if I don't hit Kayn on this roll-on, I'm probably cooked anyways. So I choose to just go for the higher cap option, which you might think is long distance pals, but I really don't like the positioning aspect of it. The set does have a lot of synergy with my augments already, the heavy hitters, but I like the positional flexibility, so I just take tons of stats, which gives less like stats to my carry than LDP, but more flexible. Very good chop, the Silas and the Yone and the Kayn. Really just rolling for like a Galio here. End up just playing 4 of the kind of poopy bruisers instead. Try to make 20. Like, you might think you want to roll to 0 here. 41's a little bit low. Don't really have that many upgrades or hits yet, but it's still important to preserve econ for the game plan I'm going for. Like, I'm trying to go first this game. In my mind, I can't really go first unless I have stuff like Kayn 2, Galio 2, Silas 2, Yone 3, which requires a lot of gold. I'm hoping I can just get by through a lot of these fights with not that good of a board. Actually, I have enough money to upgrade some stuff. I do end up rolling down here. I think I probably overroll and I got a little scared. So maybe not even following my own advice. I'm also not sure if upgrading the Morgana was correct, but it is a stronger board than the 4 Bruiser. Since I don't have Galio, I get the Wukong in. It's only stronger because I have Wukong. If I didn't have Wukong, I wouldn't touch this unit. Here, I just take a sword, also known as the Duelist player from the Aurelia Fairy Duelist. I feel like a lot of players don't actually, at least at the competitive level, don't really think about griefing on carousel that much, but it's something I really try to incorporate in my game. Just denying someone's game plan is pretty valuable. But here, even though I'm kind of low, I feel like I just can't really roll for anything. Don't really have any of my 4-cost paired. Still 4 off Yone as well, but I take another, like, pretty brutal loss. And I'm thinking here, like, if I lose one more, I'm gonna be 1 life. I didn't think I could afford to be 1 life on stage 5. So I'm rolling here to, like, get a life at all costs. Get really, really lucky, though, and hit Kane 2, Silas 2 on that roll down. Like, yeah, it's lucky, but, like, I should have hit him on the first roll on. Yeah, I am uncontested in this lobby. Yeah, I definitely needed them to survive this fight. I felt like if I went to 1 life in stage 5 with a Fortune player, I might just go, like 7th or 6th again. And I really needed a good placement in this game, so kind of had to go for the risky play. But here is where, like, the game kind of starts to turn. The pumping up keeps pumping. All my units are heavy hitters now. I get a remover, get some Gallios. I can swap off this Morgana for the 4 Bruiser. Get the Gallio 2, which is huge for my front line. Here I go for the Even Shroud Armor Shred and the Edge of Night, and then I just move items to Kane 2 because it's way more stable for now. Keep the Yone 3 option for later. Edge of Night on him because he's presumably going to get a 3rd item off Carousel. And yeah, like, we're really strong. It's full board upgraded with 3 synergistic combat augments. And we have an extra life to buffer against the Fortune player. This one's no-brainer. We already upgraded our whole board. Really, really want a TG here or a healing item. So I go for Cloak here to try to get, like, BT or Spark or something. But here I just go for the Glove, try to get a full TG and then hit it. Pretty lucky as well. TG on Silas 2 is big. And yeah, we're just barely strong enough to win a lot of these fights. I mean, this fight wasn't that close, but not really doing that much interesting stuff with positioning. I'm putting Kane in the middle to try to kill front lines faster. Didn't really look like I could wrap against any of the people I was going against, so I was going for, like, the strategy of killing their front line as soon as possible. Here I just take a BT for my Yone. Overall, like, game plan for this stage is if I can win out the rest of stage 5, I will just level to 9 for Wukong, but the second I lose a round, I am just rolling to 0 every single turn for Yone on 8. But I do think Heavenly plus Wukong is a decent spike, so if I can get to that, I think it's worth it. Another pretty close fight. All these combat augments is what's making the difference. And then what ends up happening off screen is the Fortune player actually dies. I don't even think I killed him, so not really something I have to worry about anymore. So now I'm thinking I'm in, like, a really, really good spot to win this game. The people with the highest HP I have good matchups against, aka Ashe and like Lily and stuff. But yeah, see here the Kane is fully focused on killing the Amumu before it can heal up, and the other stuff can kill the thing of the backline. I mean, it was still a very close fight. Lux is a strong comp. I mean, yeah, Reaper's usually a top 4 comp, so even beating these boards on stage 5 means, like, my augments are just pulling their way. Yeah, we went out the rest of the stage, so I just leveled to 9 for the Wukong, go for any kindred item here, it's not that relevant, and then just start rolling for random stuff, hit the Rek'Sai, sure. Yeah, still close fights all around. These boards are really, really strong that I'm beating. And I end up just, like, keep winning, just a stomp from this point. You could say I got pretty lucky with the shops this game, but I had to play risky this game. Like, the triple greedy augment take, like, the slight greeting on my roll downs, rolling down, like, when I was scared to be on 1 life. Like, those are the plays you have to make if you need a good placement in a tournament. I went first this game. I also went first the next game, the final game of day 1, but I basically just, like, AFK'd, high rolled, upgraded Duelist, and then hit Aurelia on 7, and then won the game with, like, 50 HP, which is not a very interesting game to watch. So we'll move on to something from day 2. All right, here we are on day 2. The context since this is I went first in that last game of day 1, but on the day 2, my first 2 games were 6th and 7th, which which is bad. Now in another spot where I'm under pressure, I need to make top 8. I mean, you just need good results. The, like, last game I showed. I could drop some extra money, choose to hold the Story Reavers and, like, the duels and stuff. I think I should have sold Riven for the other 2 1 cost in the shop, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah, I get a Darius 2 here. Thing is, I don't have any real slams, but here I'm looking around at the lobby, and I'm trying to see if people are playing Lux. To the untrained eye, it doesn't really look like this might be a Lux spot, but I actually think it might be. One is because I think Silver Ticket is one of the best for just any reroll comp, and I got offered it. And then 2, I have a full Nashorus plus a Cloak, which just goes into Stoneplate for a Mumu. And 3, I have like an econ opener, so I'll have a lot of money to roll on 3-2 for Lux. So I'm just looking to see if it's like someone's like clearly contesting it, and I don't think I saw anyone. So even though I'm playing around like a Darius opener, I choose to just play for Lux here instead. Still trying to play strongest board to kill some units though. But yeah, surprisingly, no one really has a Lux spot. Yeah, not that interesting, just killing nothing. This is the Ari encounter that gives you AD, AP, or health. And I'm just like triple checking that people aren't playing Lux so I can take AP. In my mind, taking AP here kind of locks me into Lux. Like, I could play Lilia, maybe. But I think I'd definitely rather play reroll with Silver Ticket at this rate. I take the AP, I commit the Nashers, so I'm all in on this Lux game plan now. Lux Janna. And yeah, important thing here is just to make econ every single turn, every single econ interval possible. Winnings, losing doesn't really matter. You'd prefer to like streak, but I don't think it's worth like full opening. Just like I don't think it's worth stacking HP just to lose some rounds like that. Take the Amumu here with Stoneplate. Amumu 2 on 3-2 is one of the most like important things for doing well with this line. So just securing it early is nice. Play Nico over Kha'Zix for like econ interval purposes, no big deal. Just playing some early game stuff, get lucky with the 2 streak. And yeah, we're in a really, really good spot here to play Lux, I'd say. Making 50 gold, have Silver Ticket, have good slams, have 2 Amumus. So I'm feeling pretty good in this spot. And then I get dropped some trash. The sword is nice. We can like ideally go for tier on Carousel for Shojin. I mean, eventually like Glove can be like Steadfast, it can be TG. Cloak can be Spark, can be like Declaw or whatever. Glove can be like JG or Guard as well. But I can't really make anything right now, which is pretty awkward because this comp thrives on being strong on stage 3. And it's kind of hard to be strong on stage 3 when you have only 2 slams. When other people in the lobby might be slamming their full build. And yeah, I'm playing Lux, so I take 2 healthy here. I think it's just good in the comp. And yeah, just rolling for the standard Janna Lux board. Hit my front line, but I mean, I don't have any of the back line. It's pretty rough. I was evaluating here for a bit if I needed to roll more. And then yeah, I decided I needed to hit a bit more, but still no upgraded back line. Personally, I like, believe it or not, I don't even know the answer. Like, I know I posted like some video on Twitter saying like you should itemize Janna first. And to some degree, I agree with that. And I know a lot of other people agree with that. I don't know, but something in my instincts told me to itemize Lux first. I'm sorry if you're like looking for some like informational, like analytical content here, but I itemized Lux here because I thought it was better in this fight since she had the lineup on the Zyra. So I itemized it to be stronger for like this round. Without thinking too much about the future. At the end of the day, to do well with this comp, you need both of them itemized, so it's not the biggest deal which one you choose first. And, I mean, I chose right, apparently. More dog said, so I upgraded it. The problem with this lobby, though, is that people are super, super strong in stage 3. I'm scouting my matchups. It's Kog'Maw 3. It's fully upgraded 2 healthy Zoe 2. And then Festivit has Yone 2, plus, like, fully itemized. So even though I have a Mumu 2, Lux 2, and 2 healthy, a bunch of stuff that's like strong in the mid game, I don't think I like beat a single person in my pool, which is really, really rough for this comp because it wants to be like a stage 3 tempo comp. And then here, I kind of just need the tier at all costs. And it's gone. I have no Shojin. I took a little too long on this. I think it's always just the Janna 2 plus the Gambler's Blade. Got it anyways, didn't get punished for waiting. I think I was just kind of like tilted / confused after I didn't get the tier. Choose to just stack them on each other. And then here, you could make Guard Breaker on like Janna. I think it's fine. But I already lost around this stage. I felt like I wanted to play around, like I wanted to play with perfect info on the rest of my items, so I wanted to wait until Wolves to slime anything really. And yeah, losing another fight with this board, pretty sad. And then here, Aatrox, component, player health or gold. I'm like, okay, I'm saved. I get a component anvil to get a tier. And yeah, no tier. This choice, I maybe made the wrong choice. It ended up working out. I think there's 3 options here. I think there's TG, I think there's Declaw, and I think there's Nashers. Nashers on Janna, specifically. Intuitively, I don't even know why I did this, but I took Nashers, but I don't know. Like, intuitively, you probably want to, like, stack the Amumu, but I felt like I was just gonna get tank items anyways or something. Maybe it was correct. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. Sometimes I just do things on instinct, and sometimes it works, but, I mean, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. It ended up working out this time. I guess in theory, I have a decent amount of offensive components here, so it's not that far-fetched that I'm gonna get to, like, more items on Janna sooner rather than later. I can definitely see the justification for TG and Declaw there. But yeah, I get dropped Chain Rod. Still no tier. I just make Spark and then Steadfast. So I think the National Slam actually worked out here because I get full item on a Mumu. That's what I would have made anyways, but that's just kind of hindsight analysis. But yeah, the problem with this is that these units need to cast, and like they do have attack speed, but you really need the mana regen. So even against this like pretty weak Soraka carry board, I'm struggling. And here's a pretty interesting choice. Heavy hitters versus Stand United. I did the math on this so you don't have to. Basically, Lux is not a heavy hitter right now, but Janna is, Diana is, and Amumu is. And late game heavy hitters does give more AP to my team. I think it gives like 7 or 8 more AP on average to my team late game, which is like kind of significant. But I take Stand here to be stronger for the rounds that I don't have Lux and Janna 3. This might be incorrect, but my reasoning is that like I wanted to save HP, and that like if I have like all my 3 stars, I maybe don't need the extra like 6 or so AP that it was, like 7 or 6 AP. I think as heavy hitters does have synergy with 2 healthy, which is relevant. I can definitely see the argument for heavy hitters, but I just took the one that was strongest immediately. The thing is, though, I like lose the next 2 rounds anyways, so like maybe it wasn't correct. But in theory, if the extra AP on Lux makes me win a round, it's definitely worth it. Because I think 1 life is worth more than anything here. But yeah, finally get the tier and carousel, and we're just gonna do a big roll on here. Hit Lux, Janna, and then Lux 3. And then yeah, hit both of our 2 stars, 2 costs, so I just level for the second Amumu. And now we're pretty strong. The problem is we're 23 HP. So pretty much 0 room for error. Nice thing about this lobby though is that even though it was strong early, there's no one really scaling up. There's no like fortune play or anything. We're still in a comfortable position, especially if we can get like a Mumu 3. Interesting thing to note about this fight is this guy is playing 8 Bruiser Silas with Talisman of Ascension. It's not how I win this fight, but I watched this fight to like play around him in the future. I won this fight because I got lucky and the Silas got stuck on my Amumu. But I think the better way to win this fight is to kill it before it ascends. And to do that, I need to be on the same side as the Silas with my Janna and Lux so I can burst it down earlier. So that's like an idea I try to do later on in the game to beat him. But yeah, get a tier and then get Lesser Nico and a Mumu. So hit a Mumu like pretty fast. Still keep rolling though, because I didn't really have a replacement for after I hit the Amumu. And then get a Shojin for Janna, and my items are looking like pretty much perfect now. Plan is to level for the Shen for 2 healthy plus Ghostly. This guy was 1 off Lilia 3. If he hit that, I was probably going 8 to start events. So definitely some lucky things happened. But I mean, at the same time, I didn't get a tier for like 3 stages, so. But leveling for the Shen here, I don't think it's worth selling to buy the Annie. I think the Shen is a meaningful spike. So I'm just gonna hope that my Gamblers farms a gold, or I'll just lock it. I end up moving my Lux from the center, specifically to play around the Reaper player. The way you usually beat Reapers is you want to be opposite side from them. They'll eventually end up on your front line, and then you want to be in the corner so that Yone doesn't get to you as fast. And then you also want your Lux and Janna close to each other so that they can focus down the tanky units. But yeah, trying to opposite side against the Reaper player, but same side against the Silas. Luckily, they're not in my pool yet, but I think they might be in the future. Small problem with this like positioning though is that if someone does something like this, my Lux is basically not going to touch them. So kind of just winning this off of like front to back, a Mumu being unkillable plus Janna. And then on Carousel here, I take Giant Slayer over Rageblade to help with the bruisers and just to burst down like stuff like the Cane and like the Story over frontline. Oh, and here the Reaper player is not on my pool anymore, and the Silas player is. So here's the idea I thought to do earlier. And see, the Silas dashes through, gets stunned by my Lux, and then gets just focused by my Janna since it's the closest unit. So I can kill it before it ascends, which is the plan. And then here, the Reapers are back in my pool. I'm masking like I'm going to put it in the middle, but the idea is I'm just going to move it to the right at the last second. I accidentally mouse slip. You can see me put it like hovered on the bench, and then I didn't end up like clicking, so it got stuck here. Miraculously though, it actually like ended up working out. None of the units wrapped, and the Kindred actually dashed in a way that it let me like stun the Cane over and over. So that was really lucky. That almost was bad. But yeah, win's a win. Definitely not what I meant to do. And then here we just want to go 9 to find like Morgana and Wukong, speak of that. And now I just go for Annie items. Annie, if you have like a Laui 3 or Diana 3, you can tank them. But Annie 2 is going to be better than the other 1 2-starred. Also, explain my positioning again. I just want to spread out for Nautilus and Lilia here. So I line up my units on the right so that the Nautilus ults these unimportant units rather than my important units. And then, yeah, it's just an easy fight. Only really way you lose that matchup is if your Lux gets, like, CC twice or something dumb. Yeah, leveling for Wukong, fighting the Zoe player. Important thing, positioning thing here is I want the Annie to be touching the Shen, because Annie does a little burn with anti-heal in a close range AoE around her. And the Shen has Anima Visage, plus it's like ghostly, so it regens health anyways. And Annie's my only form of anti-heal, so if I don't get Annie to cast on the Shen, I won't be, like, it'll be a lot tankier. But other than that, the positioning's pretty standard. And then here, I do the opposite side thing that I wanted. He ends up moving his Kayn though, but it still goes on my front line. And yeah, it's a pretty easy fight. Here I go for Porcelain, and the plan was to drop Wukong for Lysandra, because I think 4 Porcelain's better. The issue is I have a Gambler's Blade, which scales your attack speed up to 30 gold. So it maybe was not correct to roll there, but I mean, I did it anyways. I thought Lysandra was a decent spike, but I didn't want to go to like 0 gold, right? 14 attack speed's not that much, but I mean, it adds up. Man, I really wanted this Lysandra. I think I probably should have not rolled, to be honest. Maybe rolled after neutrals if I lost. But yeah, here, just tracking the side of him, get a really good lineup. Doesn't really have any ranged units to protect his team is the thing. So, oh, also his Zoe kind of threw. Walked into the Lux ult, so I actually ended up winning. I don't know if I would have won otherwise, probably not. But yeah, it's just a win out as soon as I get the tier, which was huge for this tournament. I really needed it. This is game 5 of day 2. I last showed you game 3 of day 2, so we skipped a game. The game after I went first with Lux, I went 5th with Kog'Maw. Yeah, it's not the best. So basically, my status in the tournament now is I think I'm at like, I'm either tied for 8th place or I'm like 9th or 10th place right now. But I need to get 8th place to qualify for the next day. Like, on average, I don't need to, like, win, but I need, like, above average performances in the next couple of games. And here, I get 2 healthy. I have a Senna, I have a bow, I have a sword, I have the Ink Shadow, I have the Shen, I have the Caitlyn pair. To me, this is just a clear-cut Senna game. Also, the portal at the, or the encounter at the start of the game is Bard. Automatically levels me to 4. One of the awkward things about this line is that, like, it's actually expensive holding all of the, like, Ink Shadows and Shins and Ghostlies and stuff. So if you're already level 4, it helps you, like, fit your board easier. Also, I just think this this comp with 2 healthy and the Ghostly Zoe variation with 2 healthy is just way stronger than it normally is. So I feel pretty confident about this game. I also think Toxin is one of, if not the best tattoo in this line. Some people think it's Bombardment, but I like the ability to have anti-heal for free. Yeah, I could drop the Senna as well, or, sorry, and Alawi as well. Lose 2 healthy on the Shen, but I think the unit quality of Alawi plus Warden is better than Shen here. But yeah, pretty standard, just kind of AFK through the early game. This board actually is not that strong until you have upgrades. So I usually end up losing like either most or all of stage 3 or stage 2. Always take Glove here. Last Whisper is the #1 prio item in this line. BI Senna is LWIE, and then last item's either Tattoo or like Red Buff or something. Don't go Ginsu on this unit, it sucks. But yeah, we upgrade the Aatrox and the Caitlyn. So I feel very, very confident in leveling and playing for a 2 streak here. We also have already fought the 2 people that are 100 HP, so the rest of the lobby is going to be a little bit weaker. What I'm doing here is I'm only going to position for Asa, aka my strongest matchup. The idea here was that I wanted his Ahri to target my Jax only and not splash the units on the left, but he actually moves his Ahri to the left 1 at the final moments. So I keep track of that for the future. The only way I lose the fight against him is if I get my team cleaved down. Yeah, I get pretty fortunate here. Get the full IE drop, get a Alawi as well, get a chain. I'm always making Stoneplate here. Yeah, here's all just positioning. Yeah, there's luck, so I don't want to corner my Senna, and there's also just like lots of cleaving, so I spread out my team so I don't get AoE'd by Ahri and stuff. I slammed the Stoneplate here on the Alawi because I thought it was going to be an I thought it was going to be a Stoneplate diff, but I don't think it was. But I wasn't able to like calculate that at the time. You want to itemize Shen with tank items in this comp because it's like that's the actual unit you can 3-star in this line, and it's like you can't really 3-star Alawi in this meta. So the plan here is to like remake Alawi on roll down, or I mean if I upgrade her early, I'll just take her, but the plan was to remake. Take Silver Ticket again, have a bunch of gold. I think this, like after the buff to this augment, it's just super, super good in all the reroll comps. Here, really just rolling until I get Senna 2. Only thing that really matters. Holding extra like Jax's and Caitlyn's. I'm also 1 off Caitlyn. End up rolling to like almost 0 to hit that, but I think it's worth it. Just the upgrade to 2-star is way too big. And then get the redemption for Shen. Shen doesn't really have like a BIS, just give him like tank items. Usually you end up with like redemption decal, redemption stoneplate. Eventually you also want like magic shred in this comp with like Shiv or Spark later, but that's not really something I like proing until after I've like tank and Last Whisper. And then here on Carousel, I just take the Alawi. I have no open components, so I can just kind of just take whatever. Rod's not even that bad. I can go for Crown Guard on like Shen or Aatrox, and then also its potential Spark. But yeah, only thing here is watch out for positioning. Only one that could beat me is maybe the Kiana 2 guy, but he's kind of locked into Umbral positioning, so I can just opposite side against him and be fine. This comp has a pretty good matchup into Duelists, especially in the mid game. You just have too much burst for them to sustain. But yeah, pretty straightforward. Playing a strong reroll line, win out the rest of the stage. Pretty much like the ideal Senna spot. Only awkward thing is I don't have that many Sennas, but hopefully I'll hit some more. Important thing I do here is I sell the Alawi for bench space. If you don't know, the maximum amount of units you can get from an orb is 3. So always leave 3 bench slots open. You can see I got an Aatrox and a Senna. If I didn't leave bench slots, I wouldn't get any. And also, I'm avoiding to pick up my orbs until I have some space as well. And yeah, I just get dropped 2 rods and 2 chains, so just make double Crown Guard. I don't greet the Spark because I don't think the chain was really that good, so I just wanted to kill the chain with a pretty good item. Get lucky here. I think my opponent fat-fingered Redemption on his Lilia instead of like Nashers or something, so we take those. Rare Crown Guard to take. I don't know if it was correct. Aatrox 3 with Crown Guard, it's pretty good, so I ended up just taking it. None of the other augments are like that spectacular. And I hit the Aatrox 3 as well. I'll have Shin hold down the left side and Aatrox hold down the right. Or sorry, other way around. Aatrox on left and Shin on right. And also Aatrox will help like duo carry with my Senna to like burst down the front line as well. He does a lot of damage now. And yeah, kind of just rolling down to like 40 because I hit an extra Senna. Only important thing I'm doing with positioning here is I believe there's a Lux player I was playing around. He's been doing this last second swap to left side. So I have my Caitlyn on the right to take the Lux hits, and then ideally Aatrox and Senna will burst down the front line. But yeah, just like lots of positioning nuance, lots of just being as strong as possible. People say reroll has like no skill, and there's like a little bit of truth to that, but just like knowing how to maximize every spot is super important, especially in these like super strong tournament lobbies. And here the benefit of like taking Crown Guard is that like he stalls for the entire shield, and also the extra AP on the Aatrox helped me like pop the Edge of Night. That's usually a kind of rough matchup to play against, but ended up getting the win because of it. Also, since the last patch, this comp got optimized a bit. Now you don't really play for like 6 Ghostly that often unless you have a spat. You actually play for 5 Ink Shadow because they buffed it. Ideally, I get Kaisa plus like Volley or Udyr as my level 8. And yeah, unfortunately, this lobby has a Fortune player, so I pretty much have a 0% chance to win. But we've done a good job of preserving HP at this point. No Spark. I already have Toxin. Don't really need a Sunfire. I mean, honestly, these choices just suck. But you might think I should go like Declaw or Stoneplate on like Aatrox or something, and maybe I should. But the 5th Ink Shadow tattoo is Tattoo of Force, and in my mind, that was something I pretty much only wanted to put on Aatrox. So I'm leaving the slot open for him, and then I start itemizing Caitlyn 3. I don't know. To be honest, though, those Rudons didn't really do anything. So maybe I should have, like, tattooed a Force Alawi and then gone for, like, Stoneblade or Declaw. I thought the Rudons would do more than it did. And then the one time I'm a little bit slow on the swap due to me rolling down, I fight him and I'm on the wrong side. It's a little frustrating. Was correctly positioned around him since 4-5 or 4-1, and I have to fight him the one round I'm not, but with Crown Guard in my front line, can actually just win the fight for me without the Senna, which is nice. You get the 5 Ink Shadow in, get the Tattoo of Force, and we're just chilling. Now, at this rate, the only thing you really care about is HP preservation, because I'm never going to win the game. Goal is to go, like, second here. Beating the second place HP guy helps. And we just want to finish off Caitlyn items. I wanted IE or Guardbreaker or Hodge, I guess, but sure, just go Guardbreaker. I don't know, it's not that interesting anymore. I end up just losing to everyone because I'm playing a reroll comp and they capped higher than me. A little bit frustrating here is I don't know who I was fighting out of 3. I positioned badly against this guy. Against the Lilia board, I do not want to clump. I probably want my Senna on like an island or something to not get AoE'd. But I was trying to focus fire against the Reaper player. Is why I did this. He was also in my pool. And like I could go like a second Rudons. I just think it's super, super low value. I don't know. I don't know if this is correct, but I went Sunfire literally just for the true damage burn. I thought that would be more damage than Rudons. Maybe it wasn't though. Unfortunately though, I just ended up on the wrong side. I think it ended up being like a 50-50. Like someone was on left, someone was on right. And I just take the loss. Wouldn't have really mattered anyways though, because the duelist player won his matchup. And then I'm fighting Fortune anyways, so it's probably just a third regardless. But overall, a pretty strong third, in my opinion. And then puts me in striking distance of Final 8. And the next game, I just need, like, like a top 4 basically. We could go for the next game, but it's another like pretty boring high roll duelist game. I get keepers, I upgrade Darius. I don't know. And then I hit Aurelia on 4-5. Again. With duelist fat. So I kind of just AFK'd into this board, and this is kind of an unthrowable position, especially if you only need a top 4. So we made it the final day. Really, really good. Lots of clutch games, especially at the end of the day. I had to go 1-3-2 to end this day, and I had to go 1-1 to end the other day to even be in contention. So definitely closer than you would like. I mean, you'd rather just make it than it not be close, right? All right, we're back with the first game of the final day. And the way this ended up working out for like Worlds qualifications a little bit weird. Since there were 5 slots to like go to Worlds default. Like default, it's top 4 in this lobby plus average placement goes to Worlds. But the thing is, Sox and Michael were already guaranteed Worlds through their qualifier points, which is a whole another system. So since they made final lobby, it's basically only one person in this lobby is not going to go to Worlds. Like, yeah, you can say I made a Mickey Mouse Worlds, but I mean, I made it. At least I made it to the final lobby, right? That's to count for something. I went 5th on the final day, which would have been enough to make it to, like, Worlds anyways without the qualifier nonsense, but I didn't win it like last time. It is what it is. I'm not going to even sugarcoat it. These final games weren't even that interesting, but I thought I could spin it as just an exercise of how to not go 8th. Which I feel like is a fairly important lesson in this game. I mean, if one person in this entire lobby is not making it to Worlds, you might as well just not play for 8th, and that's part of what I did. I mean, I wanted to win the event, obviously, but it just didn't end up working out. We can slowly go over these augments. I mean, I just think Ink Shadow +1 just broke it, in my opinion. I just think 7 Ink Shadow's OP. You have the option of rerolling here, or just, like, tempoing. The issue with rerolling is you might not make it to Udyr +7 Ink Shadow. It's a lot of money to like reroll and go 9. But if you don't reroll, you might not have the strongest secondary carry in the game. Because if you reroll, you would like be duo carrying like Kai'Sa and Senna. But otherwise, you're just going to be carrying Kai'Sa plus some other upgraded like a Xayah or an Aurelia or something. That's the 2 ways to play it. I'm not entirely committed to one or the other. Also, to know, the Ink Shadow Prismatic gives you a Even Shroud, so I don't have to make Last Whisper this game, so I could just go straight for the IE Slam. And the default board, in my opinion, for if you're not rerolling for Ink Shadow is just all the Ink Shadow units, obviously. And then I like playing a Bruiser. Number 1, I like, or like a 4-cost Bruiser, aka Silas or Galio. Just whatever one you have upgraded first. And then 2, I like to play Alawi. And then 3, which is on level 9, I like to play like Xayah or Aurelia. So those are usually the 3 flex slots I try to play. But yeah, I mean, my board is super, super strong. Upgrading the Senna early, just playing upgrades, hit the Alawi, which is one of the units I want. I'm pretty much just going to be unbeatable. I don't really know how much there is to learn from this game, to be honest. Just click Ink Shadow. We can maybe skim through it since it's faster. Just make the red buff since I don't need the Last Whisper, as we said. Go for the Shiv for some extra ghostly damage. We only end up playing 2 ghostly in this line. I believe one of my tattoos is Tattoo of Force. So late game, that'll help. And also Udyr does a decent amount of magic damage with 7 Ink Shadow. Like, yeah, like Ink Shadow, the trait gives you some % damage, so even your tanks can do a little bit of damage. It might be correct to reroll in the spot. I was considering rerolling if I naturaled more units, but I think they just never really came. And then I got 5 Ink Shadow in. Yeah, I don't know. Just take some random combat like Unified, right? Yeah. And then here, I can level for 5 Ink Shadow plus 4 Ghostly and make Econ. So I choose just level instead of reroll, which I feel like is just fine. If you were rerolling here, I don't think you would level, obviously. But you would just be playing some weird 3 Ghostly variation or something, or like 4 Ink Shadow or something. Yeah, it's not the best. This one's pretty bad. First of all, is you might think it's Aegis there, and I think Aegis is fine. I just really, really don't like Aegis against Lux Janna and against Nautilus, and there's like 3 of those people in this lobby. I like the flexibility of being able to put my carries whenever and swap them whenever, and not feeling like I need to position in a certain way, especially with Unified. And I think Randuin's just sucks, and I already have Even Shroud, so I don't need Cleaver, so I just end up with Zephyr. I don't actually think I end up using the Zephyr that well, to be honest, but I have it. You drop the tier on Lesser Nico. I mean, honestly, like, maybe here you're supposed to reroll. I end up just lesser Nicoing, or lesser duplicating the Alawi and trying to push levels. I just thought that was the strongest play in the moment, but I could be wrong. Often with Zephyr, one of the stronger plays you can make is Zephyring, like, tanks, especially ones with, like, Stoneplate. You saw that there. Just getting rid of the tank's value is pretty good. And the thing about Zephyr is that usually people try to reposition their backline at the end of the planning phase, but usually people don't move their front line as much. So it's something you can take advantage of. Also, the Fortune guy completely messed up his roll. I went 8th, so I'm feeling pretty good. But here, I'm 100 HP, I'm 40 gold. The plan here is just to go straight to 9 to get the guaranteed Aatrox and Kaisa. Or sorry, guaranteed Udyr and Kaisa. End up losing because I'm fighting a Kane 2 with a Senna 2. It is what it is. Trying to skip forward. And I just take the Kaisa for convenience. Redemption's also just a fine slam. This game's not interesting, so I'm just gonna try to skip through as much as possible. Here, kind of interesting take. I take reinforcement. The idea is the 12 gold helps me hit 9. The idea, I mean, I got lucky here, but the idea was to buy Galio or Silas as soon as I saw them. I actually got the opportunity to choose between both, which was nice. I chose Silas since I had Crown Guard, and then he can do some cool stuff with Tattoo of Force later. But I don't know, maybe a Galio is better just for like pure tankiness. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Silas is fine. He's also a user of Vitality for now. But the thing is, late game, like I want Udyr to hold that, so it's I don't know if it's that relevant. Now we're like super rich and we can go 9, and we could drop like a ton of gold here and get the Udyr. So I just decided to level now, off interval. End up just taking a Last Whisper anyways. I actually make a mistake here. Okay, not with the item, but I skip an Aurelia. I was super tunnel vision at this point, running out of time, and I thought I could just hit Xayah immediately, because I do think Xayah is the best option, but I end up not hitting Xayah for a while, which actually punishes me a fair bit, because I want to move the IE off the Caitlyn, obviously. I mean, Aurelia gives you, like, Duelist, which is good, and it's just a good unit. So I end up selling this Caitlyn for like a Philios, which I mean is just weaker than Aurelia would be. So slight error there. In my head, once I get Xayah, I'm super strong. So kind of just rolling for that every turn, then I hit it. I swap the Senna 2s out to move items. And now we're basically just playing like a variation of like Trickshot Kaisa, but instead of all the bruisers and 4 Trickshot, we just have 7 Ink Shadow. And yeah, this board's really good. Not that much to analyze here. I take Umbral because just nothing else is that good. Beat the Duelist player. I was trying to like Zephyr the Kane. I thought I was going to swap the Kane with the Silas last second, but I mean, I don't know why I thought that. It's not like he's not going to put his Kane in front of my team like this, but I think we still win. I took a Last Whisper off of the Anvil just because it was really the only item I could make. There was no GS, I think. And then like there's a little bit of crit synergy with IE, and just having the guaranteed armor shred when my Even Shred dies is nice, I guess. Yeah, I get the Udyr 2 here. This is just a very tiny lesson on like player tendencies. 1, I've watched this guy do this already once, and usually people are lazy with their swaps. And 2, it's just kind of obvious. Like if he's put 3 units in the back right corner the entire game, and one of them has to be on this hex because of Umbral, and he has Chalice, there's really like he's either gonna not move the Lilia or he's gonna move it here. That's pretty much the only place this Lilia is gonna go. And usually just bet on people moving their unit. That's just usually the default. I like pretty much default move my units. Pretty much every single high elo player does, just out of habit. So I feel like this is just a very obvious Zephyr here, and yeah, it is. Like if you think they might swap, just anticipate the swap. They'll probably swap. I mean, I lose anyways because the game sucks, but I mean, yeah. I mean, I did Zephyr him. Oh, and here I actually do something interesting. I tried to Zephyr the Spite, the support item. Because on death, it will give his team a bunch of AD and AP, and then reduce the AD and AP of my units. So I felt like with Kiana 3 and Volibear 3 and all that stuff, I did not want to give him early stats. I still lost the fight, though, somehow. I actually don't know how, but yeah, that's pretty unlucky. I also just ended up losing this fight, just not enough damage somehow. I swear Ikshana is usually stronger than this, but I guess this lobby is just, I think this lobby is just stronger on average. The board I just fought has a lot of defensiveness on his team. It's a Kane 2 with Unified 2. He had Sage, he had Harmesis, he had the Martyr or an item, or support item. So lots of healing on it, and I don't have upgraded duo carry, so I want to be weaker. But yeah, I hit the Xayah 2 now, so feeling pretty confident I can win. You know, going for some pretty whatever Zephyr cheese, didn't really matter. Probably was going to beat Ghost anyways, but yeah. And here I'm just trying to do the thing where I Zephyr the Spite again. I noticed he was frontlining his Darius as well, so I just made sure to not Zephyr the Darius. Yeah, we get the Spite, focusing the team down before the Spite procs, and get the win this time because I have much more single target from Xayah. And I felt like in a pretty comfortable spot to win this game, but unfortunately, something bad happened. And I just take Bramble here to try to stall the AD comp. I do something really dumb here. I fucking fall for a fake swap. I shouldn't have, because his even shroud, his even shroud on an AD comp is on the right side. So like, what's more like, he swaps his Wukong to the left, or he swaps his like Kayn back. He swaps his Kayn back. But I end up moving my Udyr last second because I'm bad, and I just get run over. Yeah, really, really bad mistake here. I would have won the round for sure, and probably the game, to be honest, which kind of stings. But at the end of the day, what got me here was just HP preservation, taking stuff like the 4-cost upgrade augment. And I mean, third is good. If the goal for this, besides winning, is not to go 8th, a third is always nice. This is game number 3. I went 3rd the first game, and I went 6th the second game. So we're in a decent spot not to go 8th. As long as I don't go 8th in this round, I should be making it to Worlds, but I'm definitely still trying to like win the tournament. So we're not really in a complete play for top 4 mood right now. Like, go through the augment that fast. I don't take Loki Plus here because I don't have a cloak, and also that augment could just easily go 8th. These augments kind of suck. I think fully adapted makes the most sense for like my spot. I just don't think the augment's that good, so I reroll it. And then I just take Shock Treatment with the goal to play Lilia. I think this is actually quite a good Lilia spot. Have the Kog'Maw 2, have the Guard Breaker. Guard Breaker is pretty good on Lilia, and then I have the strong front line to like hopefully streak. End up actually making a fairly significant mistake here. He ends up second rowing his ranged unit, which means he's not targeting my Rek'Sai first. If he targeted my Rek'Sai first, my Darius would die much later, and then I would have more DPS and I could win the fight. But my Darius died first, and I lost, which lost a 2 streak and potentially even loses a 5 streak, which is kind of a big deal. Here, the correct choice might be Shojin. I usually prefer blue buff a lot on Lilia, and I kind of like securing the anti-heal with Morello, but I can 100% buy that I'm maybe supposed to go Shojin there. It's just like a personal preference thing. Having Morello when a bunch of people are already committed to melee lines, like I saw with the Reaper and presumably a duelist player as well, I think, is never bad. And on this carousel, I just go for AP. I play the Janna over the Elune because all I really care, like this Rek'Sai is pretty much my entire team on the stage. I just want to shield the Rek'Sai to keep it alive, or keep her alive. So I play I don't play the Elune. And then to that effect, I just make Crown Guard on the Rek'Sai too. Here, putting Kinch in the far corner, I just don't want it to get AoE'd, and I also want as many units as possible to be hit by Rek'Sai's knockup, so I don't want to get wrapped and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Make a Kindred 2. Rek'Sai 2 plus upgraded backline is like kind of just one of the strongest openers in the game. But yeah, this Kinch 2 really signals to me that I want to play Lilia. I mean, I also like all AP and stuff, but yeah, definitely just like a Lilia hard force. Little Buddy's not that good for Lilia. Martyr actually is. I was maybe meant to take it, but I felt like I could probably push a streak harder with upgrades from Epoch. And then also this comp usually relies on getting level 9, which Epoch helps with a lot as well. And I thought I could maybe use it to like even roll for like a Kench 3. Kench 3 Mythic does pretty well if you can actually get to it, even rolling on like 8. Also, I'm sorry, this game is not that interesting, but I mean, you might as well just talk about all the games. Get 2 random support items, sure. Or not all the games, but just talk about the games a little bit. Oh, I lost to Senna too. 2 healthy, yeah, sure. Since I lost, I ended up not leveling. It's fine though, Rek'Sai's still a beast. This encounter is also like really, really good for me. Lets me keep the Kog'Maw, lets me like reset the TG every round. It's actually like just such a good encounter in my spot. Plan is just to level on 4-1 instead of 4-2 since Epochs make you richer. I have bow, tier, cloak, rod. I already have a shiv, so I'm just gonna reforge this bow is the plan. Get a glove, so that's just JG with Guardbreaker. Hidden Annie, Hidden Loon. No Lilia though, or Nautilus, pretty bad. Kind of just rush out to get a decent board. End up fighting someone stronger, which kind of sucks. Lose my 2 streak. Also, I'm 0 gold. I basically need like 1 Lilia to stabilize me. It's like pretty unlucky I don't hit a single one there. I don't know. I don't like Mana Shield. I honestly don't like any of these augments. Maybe I should have just defaulted tons of stats and rolled this one. I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually know which one's better. I could probably check like after this, but yeah. But even if Epitaph is slightly better than Tons, I probably should take Tons anyway, or probably should roll the augment anyways, because I might get something better than both. And I imagine Tons of stats and Epitaph are like very similar in this line. I mean, honestly, Epitaph's probably a lot better if I can Kinch 2, to be honest. Or Kinch 3, I mean. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Epitaph's better. But yeah, not rolling here because I lost my streak. Sitting in Lilia gel anyways. Do not get blue buff. I don't like making Shojin. I just go for a Declaw. I mean, if I don't... The idea here is that I'll probably get a tier, a sword, or a cloak front man item off of neutrals anyways, or off of the anvil, that is. Play Okui here to start stacking, or to start printing a Kench, really. I don't know, but we're losing so much HP that we really shouldn't have lost, since I don't have a single Lilia. It's actually, like, really tragic. I also should have played this board last turn, I guess. Even unupgraded, the 5 Mythic was better. But yeah, Nautilus casts twice like a beast and actually do win this fight, which is huge. But I feel like with average variants, I should be like 70 or 60 HP here, but I'm like 42 HP, which is super sus because I need to go 9. Though, even though I'm low rolling, what I'm doing here is just like rolling every single turn, trying to play strongest board and stuff. Okay, here, like, giga mistake, I was just like dizzy and tilted. It's Silas over Annie, and then once I print the Lilia 2, I swap back into 4 Invoker, but right now I'm playing 3 Invoker for like actually no reason. There's also the play that I can... Nah, it's not Silas over Loon. Yeah, I mean, it's just Silas over Annie for now, and then I keep the Silas for later. Okay, I played Silas over that, but that's just incorrect. I guess I wanted the gold to roll, but yeah. Okay, honestly, watching this now, it's kind of bad. But, okay, is it fight diff? Fuck, is it fight diff? If I have 4 Invoker here? Nah, it's no way, no shot, no fucking shot. Okay, also, does anyone know why this Yone heals the full? Like, what happened here? It's half HP, half HP, half HP, ulted by Tom Kench, and then it's just full HP? What? I mean, I still wouldn't have won the fight, because he has a Kane too, but like, that can't be right. Yeah, but now I get this board, which is strong, but I'm on 50 HP, and I lose, because, my Nautilus is in Africa. And also, I don't know what the fuck my Lilia decided to do. Decided it wanted to go into melee range. But I wouldn't have won anyways if it was backline. Honestly, I don't even know if I would win with Nautilus on correct side. He has so much healing on his team. I just take the 3rd Kench item. And unfortunately I can't corner the Lilia because I believe the Lux player is still in my pool. But I mean, we have a strong board. We beat some people. We get a top 4. Unfortunately, I just don't have the HP to push for anything higher in a lobby as strong as this. Also, just don't have the HP to push 9. Get pretty unlucky on the item there. I don't know. I just go for a 3rd Loot item, more attack speed, even though it's red buff Morello. I think it's better than just random tank. But whatever. Probably just not that important. I needed my Kench one to the right, because it ends up walking to the left too early, and then I get wrapped. But I don't know if I really would have won anyways, because he has Aurelia too, and he just has so much healing on his team. I feel like this matchup might just be cooked with level 8 versus level 9. I don't know. If the earlier rolldowns were better, I could definitely play for second in my mind in this spot. And I'm not saying I played this game perfectly, but I felt like I navigated a low roll rolldown into a 4th okay. Yeah, not really. But honestly, I don't really know what games to talk about. They're all pretty boring, because I just go 5th a bunch. I mean, we can summarize as I get like no damage items, and I have to play like some weird ass Caretaker's Riven 3 Lucky Gloves into bullshit and get a 5th. But in the world of not playing for 8th, it's pretty good. And then I play an Ashe game, hit everything, and then go 5th because Ashe is not that good in this meta. I mean, I don't know. It's not that interesting to me. And in the last game, I played Senna again and got a 2nd. And we already showed a Senna game. So, wish I had some cooler games to show on the final day. Yeah, I don't know. I've been yapping for so long. Hopefully you got something out of this video. Definitely a strange final day format, since so many people made it, since the qualifier points earners made it to the final lobby. But even if they didn't make it, a top 5 would have made it to Worlds anyway. So I'm definitely super excited and proud of what I did, even though I didn't win again. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. And I'm down to repeat a video like this for Worlds when I win Worlds. Alright? Deal. See you guys later. Bye.